Hey guys, it's your boy MKS here, back again with part 2 video, saying my prayers. I think we're still in the middle of a storm. I don't want to count. I haven't heard any thunder just this moment in time, but you can probably see me looking around. In my last video, I looked around and it's like, so I'm saying my prayers and hoping the storm will pass quickly. Godspeed, God willing, Godspeed, and all that good stuff. So anyway, yeah, saying my prayers. I was a bit nervous in my last video. You can probably tell, like I get a bit nervous when it comes to, or very nervous when it comes to thunderstorms. So I hope they don't last too long. I've been in a few which have lasted to several hours, so I'm hoping this one will pass, or has passed, or is passing. The sky went all really dark very quickly. But yeah, Godspeed, God willing, Godspeed. It will pass. I hope. But yes, you might be able to hear some thunder in the background. I don't know, but or even see some lightning, heaven forbid. But hopefully not. God willing and Godspeed, it won't be. But anyway, I'm going to try and get on with this list. So please check out part 1 if you haven't done so. This will make a lot more sense. I did try and share the video, so I don't know if this, because of the storm, there's something wrong with Facebook not sharing, or I've been blocked from sharing stuff because I shared too much info or what. But I can't share it with my friend's blessing and one, two other friends in Africa and that sort of thing. But anyway, here we go. I wasn't sure whether to share it on my Facebook anyway, the main profile, but I know it's a controversial topic. But again, alternative opinions more than respected. Number 11. I think there's something. There's more constructive things, arguably, that you can do. I know the military helps you to train, helps you to toughen up, it helps you to be more independent, you have to make your own bed, you have to do things. So there are a lot of respectable things, I think, in the military in terms of, some people say it makes you a man, makes you more mature. Let's not be sexist about it. I'm sure for women it makes you more mature. I never make my bed in the morning, so I'm very bad, very naughty. Let's leave it as it is and then go back into it. So I know that's a bit bad of me, but maybe people might say it's lazy or demotivated me. They might be right, hopefully not. But I just think I'm just going to go back into it anyway. So anywho, with the duvet, I always find it hard to make bed anyway. But I know there was a military guy who was talking about the first thing you should do in the morning is make your bed, and a few people have said that. So it means you go to a fresh bed as soon as you go to bed. So anyway, it can train you in lots of things like that. But I still think there are more constructive. You can still do the fitness things. Maybe do military fitness, learn martial arts, learn how to look after yourself, learn how to defend yourself, learn how, if someone's getting attacked in the street, how you can come in and break up fights. I don't know if I'd advise that nowadays, because if I see a fight, I'm like, if I'm far away, I'll say, come on guys, let's calm down. But if I'm too close, I'm like, I don't get involved, because there's too, even if you've got the training, even if you're tough, there's a lot of people around and they've got bottles and glasses and bricks and all that, even if you are military or martial arts guy. But you know, if you got that confidence, then good on you and all that. But so there are positive things in the military. I just think the fact that you go abroad, you fight, and let's say someone disagrees with the Iraq war, they still have to be there in Iraq because of the government says you have to be there. If you refuse, you go to prison. So I think that's a really bad thing in my opinion. And people talk about the military and industrial complex as well. And for me, one of the things I'd do is end all forced conscription worldwide if I could. I'd also like cut back on I'd tax all worldwide militaries by 10%, so that I put that money into feeding people and educating people and supporting people and helping people to tackle poverty and all that sort of. I hope God agrees with me, but I don't know if he does. So I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm speaking from God, or I'm speaking from a biblical perspective, or whatever else. Maybe the storm was God telling me I don't agree with me. I don't agree with you. I don't know, but hopefully not. Hopefully God does agree with me, but I don't know. But again, I'd love to have different biblical or religious perspectives from different religions. All comments, no comment will be disabled, blocked, or anything like that. Not by me anyway. YouTube might block them, but I won't block them. Even if they're threatening or whatever, I'm going to leave any comment there, hopefully. Godspeed, God willing, Godspeed, I'll leave any comment there. So yeah, so I think there are more constructive things you can do. And if there's wars you disagree with, you don't have to be involved in those wars. And then if I could, I'd tax all worldwide militaries 10%. Weapons trade, I'd tax 10% as well. I'd probably try and find anyone who profits from war, and if I could, I'd tax them so they couldn't profit from war. And I'd spend that money on feeding people again, and educating people and whatever else, and empowering people. And I'd also end forced conscription. I don't know if I meant, just to clarify that point, I come up with a list of all those sorts of things, but maybe I'll do that next week. Alternatives to the military or things like that next week, because I mean it's already 20 past 10 here, so I don't think I'm going to cover the whole thing there, and I don't want the video to be too long. Number 12, again, I think there are the fitness part of the military where you train, you do the exercises and all that. I think that's really good. You keep fit, get physically strong, you can look after yourself, you feel confident, you learn to make your bed. But if you could train and doing that without going to wars, I think that'd be a lot better. Again, I think the cost of the military, how much that costs versus healthcare, education, feeding people starving around the world. People, I know in the Bible it says the poor will always be amongst us, unfortunately. So I think that's a shame. Hopefully, it doesn't mean like complete poverty. Hopefully, it means like some people are always going to be richer than others, which is fair enough. I mean, especially if you work harder, if you work more hours, if you do whatever type of jobs, the market is going to pay more. Some people more than others. Like I'm unemployed, so obviously I can't earn as much or have as much as somebody else. I have to try and entertain people on YouTube to get to try and do that. And then most of my money I give away, but you have to provide a service to get the money. I don't think it should be entitled. That you just get. On that note, there's a lot of financial cost to the taxpayer. So I think, although they might argue it keeps them safe, so it's worth it, but I mean, taxpayer obviously has that choice. But even if you don't support it, you still have to pay that tax. So for me as a libertarian, I don't quite agree that you have to pay that tax whether you support it or not. And you're forced to be told it's for your better good. That to me sounds like a lot like a nanny state. It's for your better good, so you better do that. You better eat healthy. You better drink healthy. You better do what we tell you to do. People probably won't accept that in other areas of their life. They might appreciate the advice, but they probably won't want to be told you have to pay. If people are taxed well, I mean, I know the government put tax on sugar, and probably a lot of people, like, including myself, didn't really like it. To me, they should take away taxes from healthy foods, and then so there's a lot of force in it that I disagree with. So I think it's the irony. They say it's freedom, but to me, it's a lot of force involved. Number 13, assume I'm wrong, which would be regrettable. Assume I've made a mistake. Again, I accept any argument. I still think it's worth putting out the point and saying that saying there's an alternative, or what if joining the military is not the best. And I'm sure for a lot of people it might be the best, and for a lot of people it might not be the best. Personally, I wouldn't want, another thing is, I wouldn't want any mixed race people joining the military anywhere in the world, even in African or Asian nations, because they fight each other. They're not always, if a military was used to defend itself and not take over other countries, other nations, I would agree with that. But if it was security, like in India, if Anglo-Indians fought and said any person coming in as a terrorist who's going to come in with a gun, or anyone who's going to come and try and attack the country, we're going to stand at the border and make sure that it's hard to get in with a gun, and we're going to question people, and we're going to make sure that things are safe, and we're going to have guns with us and make sure the borders are protected. But we're not going to go into Pakistan or any other country, or China or anywhere else, and take over. We're just going to protect the borders. If it was like that, I would agree, but not taking over other people's nations. Number 14, again, I think there are alternatives to joining the military, things like doing charity work, philanthropy, NGOs, and so on and so forth. Number 15, I think the military, when the military sometimes make things worse, like in Iraq, I'm sure Saddam was probably not very nice person. He treated Kurds bad, he treated other people bad, he didn't have the best human rights, but the economy was fairly strong. There weren't suicide bombs every week, there wasn't as much terrorism. Saddam, actually, for all his bad flaws, apparently he actually arrested terrorism. Even Donald Trump said that. He arrested terrorists, and he tackled terrorism, and he tackled ultra-religious people. Similar with the Tunisian leader, apparently he tackled, and a lot of these people tackled terrorism, and they worked with, and a lot of it's more about oil or things like that rather than terrorism, I think. But again, if you disagree, that's fine, and if you can prove me wrong, then I'll have to have humble pie. That's fair enough. So if you can have a video refuting what I say, that's okay. But for me personally, I wouldn't encourage joining the military. I'd encourage being involved in politics, in preventing wars. To me, the real heroes are the ones that prevent wars if they can. Look at how to prevent wars, have diplomacy and things like that. Someone teach your children that there's no heroes in wars, but the heroes are the ones that prevent wars. Again, you can disagree or agree. I take things literally. I'd say, please teach your children that the heroes are the ones that prevent wars. But again, it's not always easy, and sometimes you probably have to go to war, like World War II, things like that, or if you're under threat of attack. But I think it's better to protect. I don't disagree with any nation's right to protect itself. It's just when it takes over other nations, which I disagree with, which I hope God agrees with me, as I say, because the Bible says don't steal, trespass, kill, murder, things like that. And if what was done by the military was done by civilians, it would be classed as illegal, going to other people's land, taking this stuff. I'm going to make this as the next point, otherwise it's going to be too long. Number 16, someone was talking about conservative Americans, and they were saying African Americans, Black Americans on the conservative movement. Obviously, traditionally, Black people are more likely to be Democrats, but they were saying a lot of the values that were brought up by African Americans are actually conservative values, like don't let anyone steal your things and things like that. And I was thinking the argument against that could be a lot of people talk support the military, but if other nations did to America or the UK what America or the UK did to them, would they appreciate it? And the answer is probably not, and most likely it's not. And Britain voted to leave the EU, so it shows it didn't want to be run by an overseas power. So it's probably being a bit hypocritical when it takes over countries like Iraq, Vietnam, but whatever other countries they took over, and they ruled India and they ruled other countries. Nigel Farage, leader of the UKIP, or I think he's come back to the UKIP. He was, or some other party now, Change UK or something like that. No, not Change. I don't know, whatever it is, leave the EU or whatever. And fair enough, I'm not saying he's wrong to have those opinions, but he was saying that all these nations had independence. Why can't the UK? But all these nations had independence from the UK. Number 17, again, I would love to get mixed race without militaries, including African ones. I don't think people of colour should join Western militaries. Like Britain and America were made, especially America, for white Anglo-Saxon Protestants, for WASPs, for the benefit of WASPs. The work was done a lot of time by people of colour, but it was to benefit the WASPs. So why, unless you're a WASP, unless you're a white Anglo-Saxon Protestant specifically, why would you join the military that represents only white Anglo-Saxon Protestants? Traditionally, even Catholics couldn't be leaders of couldn't be presidents for a long time. So why would you join a military of a nation where you couldn't be the leader for a long time? And there's still people who are like anti-Catholic as well. So even other religions, even other denominations of Christianity that are not Protestant, or people of colour who are Christian. Number 18, again, I think there are more positive and constructive things that could be done, such as philanthropy, supporting NGOs, supporting charities, going overseas if you can, if it's safe. Maybe even taking a risk if you want to be brave. People talk about being brave and serving. You could be going to Iraq and being brave enough to serve in Iraq and say, we're going to help children, we're going to provide stationery, we're going to provide food, we're going to provide water, we're going to provide shelter, we're going to do fundraising, we're going to record YouTube videos and make money from them to give to those people, or whatever it is. If you're that brave, I commend your bravery. But or you might even have, it's just, I think if you join the military, as I say, you can always you can't avoid a war that you might disagree with, or an area or a command you might disagree with, or if you hear racism, it's probably very hard to challenge. And people say there's a lot of bullying in the military. Some people even say there's a lot of dare I say sexual assault. I don't want to make accusations I haven't heard of, but I think these have been seen. So these have been recorded. So these are statistically things that. And the other thing is, like Donald Trump and people like talk about cutting back on welfare and healthcare and all these sorts of things, even education perhaps. And yeah, they talk about pumping more money into the military, but that's taxpayers' money, so it's still kind of a nanny state. To me, I'd rather see it spent on healthcare, education, welfare, and things like. If it's going to be, I don't want to force taxpayers to pay for things, but if they were, I'd rather it be spent on that, in my opinion. So again, these are all my opinions. 19, I think, again, other causes you could do, like help African software or technology generally, and that sort of thing. And 20, again, though there's a lot you can learn from the military. I heard of like the motivational or financial guru Robert Kiyosaki, controversial character. A lot of people might not agree with what he says. A lot of people might say it's for them or whatever. But I think it's worth investigating what he says. But he said he was in the military in Vietnam. He actually loved a lot of the military. He loved the camaraderie. He learned a lot from the military. Taught him to be braver, which helped him for business. But he said that they were lied to when they went to Iraq, to Vietnam, sorry. And I don't want to get him in trouble, but this is what he said. And I'm not saying he endorses what I'm saying or not, but I'm just using him as an example because he was in Vietnam, and he said that he was lied to, and that really hurt. So anyway, this video has been really long, so if you stuck with me and put up with me for that long, thank you so much, and I hope God agrees with me, but I'm not sure if he does. If you're a Christian, or even if you're from another religion, whether you're Protestant, Catholic, Muslim, Hindu, Sikh, Jewish, whatever religion you are, or even atheist, kind of a belief in something. Everyone has probably what you could call a religion, a belief in something, I imagine, I would assume. Some people might not class atheism as a religion, but anyway, sorry, I'm waffling. But whoever you are, please don't hold back your feedback. If you have to have hate mail, I might need protection, but I hope it won't be hateful. Again, I do not hate the military. I do not hate people in the military. I do not disrespect what they do, because I'm sure they're very brave, very strong. Some of them are great people. Some of them are probably not great people. But I don't think they're all heroes. I don't think that none of them are heroes. I think some of them are, and some of them are just average people. Some of them probably not even very nice people. Some of them, I'm sure, really are. So Anyway, as ever, I'd love to know what you think. Please feel free to disagree.